Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the NFL Coverage. I am here with your boy, Coach Williams, Coach Calvin. And before we get started, this podcast is brought to you by Final Form Subs, guys. Here we got the joint support. I also have more products dropping on the website, so y'all go to that website. I'm reorganizing the website, so we actually have it organized based on different categories. So we have like gut health. If you look specifically for joints, we have a joint tab, et cetera, et cetera. You can go on there and check out all the things that we have, and we're organized. We also have workout programs on there. Go to finalformsubs.com. That's SUPPS.com. Use promo code Coach Strib, all caps, no space. Get 10% off your order. And secondly, guys, if you're new, if you're listening, go ahead and subscribe. We're trying to grow here at IV Talks Podcast Network. All right. Those of y'all that are new, welcome to the NBA coverage. We're going to start off by going over the standings for the East and Western Conference in the NBA. We're going to go over some leaders and some statistical categories. And then Calvin is going to kick us off for NBA highlights and news. So real quickly, contextually, we're getting down to the wire in the NBA season. There's only about 10-ish games left, a little over 10, maybe 10, 12, 13 games left, depending on the team in the season. So we're talking maybe 2-3 weeks left in the season before we go into the play-in tournament. So things are going to start coming down to the wire for a lot of these teams. So these seedings and rankings are going to be very important. All right. We're going to start off with the East. Number one, no surprise there. They've been the number one spot in the East the entire season, and they've gained a huge lead. They've secured their number one spot. Boston Celtics are sitting at 1. They're in 11.5 games in front of number 2. So they have secured that number 1 seed. Milwaukee Bucks have moved to 2. Cleveland Cavaliers have moved to 3. New York Knicks at 4. Orlando Magic at 5. Pacers at 6. Miami at 7. 76ers at 8. Bulls at 9. Hawks at 10. Rounding it out, we got Nets at 11. Raptors at 12. Hornets at 13. Washington at 14, Wizards, and the Pistons at 15. The Hornets, Wizards, and Pistons have been eliminated. There's no possible way for them to make the playoffs. They have been officially eliminated. But the Raptors and Nets are still in the fight for the play-in tournament. At the West, we have a tie at first between the OKC Thunder and the Denver Nuggets. But Timberwolves are at 3. They're only a game and a half behind. So it's still tight between 1, 2, and 3. We can see a switch up here in the next week or so, depending on who makes a run and a winning run and who goes on a losing streak. Sitting at 4, a little bit of separation. So OKC Nuggets are at tied for 1. Timberwolves are a game and a half behind them. The Clippers are 5 games behind them, 1 spot. So there's a little bit of separation between 3 and 4. The Pelicans are at 5. Suns are at 6. We have Kings at 7. Dallas at 8. Lakers at 9, Warriors at 10. Rounding it out, we have Rockets at 11, Jazz at 12, Grizzlies at 13, Portland Trail Blazers at 14, Spurs at 15. The Grizzlies, Trailblazers, and Spurs have been eliminated. They are out of the playoff picture completely because of their records. But the Jazz and the Rockets are still in contention for play-in tournament. Now, real quickly, moving to leaders. Points per game. Luka Doncic is 34.1. Rebounds per game. Sabonis at 13.7. If he wins the rebound, if he finishes the season with rebounds per game, he will be the back-to-back rebound champion for the NBA because he won it last year as well. Assists per game, 11.2. Tyrese Halliburton. Steals per game, 2.1. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander at 2.1. DeAndre Fox right there at 2.0. So it's a real tight there, as these are awards that will be given out to guys at the end of the season for points per game or scoring champ, assist champ, rebounds champ, et cetera, et cetera. And blocks per game is at Victor Wembanyama at 3.4. I'm going to pass it off to Coach Calvin to kick us off with NBA highlights and news.
Yeah, man, I'm going to go back to and I said this before. You remember when Doc Rivers had joined the Bucks and everything? They were going through that little slump and everything where they're losing, I forgot what it was, but they lost it was 8 of the last 10 games or 7 of the last 10 games or something like that. That that kind of hurt them, I think, a little bit, just with the race and everything. You see now that they're 11 and a half games back from first, still going to make it and everything, but I feel like if they could have rounded that out and possibly would have won some of those games, it would have been a little bit more competition and everything just in the East. But I mean, most part, Celtics really got that locked up in the bag and everything. But like I said, man, I think from 2 all the way to 8, I mean, anything can change within that because I mean, the games that they're behind is about like 2 games, 2.5 games, and everything like that. So you can see definitely some different movement on that end and everything through 2 through 8 than the Western Conference. I mean, I mean, it's no joke to us. I mean, we've been saying this from the beginning of the year, like it's a dogfight, and it's
Right.
continuing going to be a dogfight and everything like that, man. So what's your predictions though, man? Who do you think really comes down to the number one? I think the Nuggets will pull out and everything, probably to that number one spot just because their team and just their maturity level and everything. Not saying the Thunder can't. I'm just saying just giving off of just the team and everything like that. I think the Nuggets will probably round that out. I think what is really going to become is a fight between 2 and 3 between the Timberwolves. And if my prediction does go through with the Thunder kind of dropping a little bit, seeing who will get that one. But man, I'm gonna ask you this question before I get into like actual like news and everything. You remember you said your dark horse teams and everything? Has that changed a little bit?
Uh, Hey, I forget who I said who I think. No, I don't think so. Cause I think in the West, I still have the Clippers and the
Hmm.
Lakers as my dark horse. I still will go. I don't know if a 4 seed can count as a dark horse, but I still have Clippers there, and I'm still gonna go with Lakers out of a team that's in the play-in. Um,
Hmm.
for the East,
think I, I think the Clippers could be. I think to consider a dark horse team is somebody that's a team that's in the media, but they're not in the media as much. I mean, Anthony Edwards been in the media, Timberwolves been in the media a lot, Nuggets because of defending champs, Thunder because they're such a young team and everything. Yeah, we talked about the Suns just because they have the big three over there with some well-known people, but it's just with the Clippers, is like I don't think they're getting enough publicity and everything for what they're doing right now. So that's why I consider them as my dark horse team, to be honest. And then whatever team LeBron's on, he's gonna get media coverage just because it's LeBron, you know? So
right? Yeah,
um
then yeah, I think the West, my dark horse is the same. For the East, we all know playoff Jimmy's a different beast, so I'm not going to count out the Miami Heat. Now, what becomes interesting is I'm looking at the 76ers. They've dropped, and a lot of people are counting them out. But if Embiid is back by playoff time, we're talking about a whole different team.
yeah.
So I'm
You're
eyeing the
getting at
70.
least 20 points from him. So, like,
Right.
that takes the pressure off of your role players and everything to score.
Yeah, so I'm eyeing the 76ers. And I'm still eyeing the Knicks because Julius, they've held steady at that number 4 spot without their best player, Julius Randle. Jalen Brunson is playing well. You
Bro,
got
bro, hold on. We got to say something. We got to say something. Josh Hart has been playing his ass off the last few games, bro. Like, I
yeah,
think the last game he played, he played every single 48 minutes. The games before that, I think he sat out 2 minutes and everything. And that's your role player, bro. That's the dude that's coming off the bench putting up starter numbers. And then a few games of those, he's had triple doubles. Like, he's one of those guys that's like a Jordan Clarkson. Like, if he goes to any other team, you can take him off the bench, you can put him in the starting lineup, and he does whatever you need him to do. Like your
he's like a
two
Swiss
guards.
Army knife.
You say what?
He's a Swiss Army knife.
Yeah,
You can
like dude,
put him
like
wherever you need him, and he can. Yeah,
I don't know. Too. There's maybe like maybe 3 to 5 people that I could probably name in the league that puts up starter numbers, but can either come off the bench or start, and it doesn't phase them at all. You know.
right.
So yeah, shouts out to him, man. He's been playing his ass off. I think I keep on saying it, man. Just that OG trade. I think they won that trade. Then you got Josh Hart, you got Jalen Brunson, which is a dog. You got Julius Randle that will come back and play. Um, I mean, bro, that I think New York is back, bro. I think they might be back. So
Yeah, so that's who I'm still eyeing. Miami, New York. especially considering how, like you said, how well they've been playing without their star players, similar to the 76ers. And then, Julius Randle, he's a dog. He started the season off shooting not very good. I think it was like he shoot 27%, but he was still averaging a triple double because he was going to go get boards. He was getting putbacks. He's a dog. He's going to play defense. He's a tough player. So I'm looking at Miami, Knicks, and then I'm kind of keeping my eye on the 76ers. But we'll see because they still got to go through the play-in, which is tough because you're one and done unless you're the higher seed. So that might be more pressure because if Joel Embiid could come back, they lose that first game, they could be out. And then for the West, I'm still looking at Clippers. I'm still looking at Lakers. But if we're being honest, the play-in tournament for the West is going to be exciting. I mean, you're talking about you got the Warriors, Lakers, Dallas, and the Kings. Like, I think the play-in tournament could turn out to be a bit more exciting the first round of the playoffs. You're talking about you got two teams with the Lakers and the Warriors that are full of vets and that are, Steph's one of the greatest of all time. LeBron James, the greatest of all time. Then you got Dallas and Kings, two teams that are fairly young, but they got all-stars. Sabonis, DeAndre Fox, Malik Monk for the Kings. Just absolute monsters. They're young and vibrant. You got Mavericks. You got Luka Doncic, 34.1 points per game. What are we talking about? Kyrie.
Kyrie can shoot now.
I mean, and he's playing. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I think the play-in tournament for the West is going to be fun to watch. So
I think just the West in general is just going to be fun to watch because, I mean, bro, let's go back to the standings, bro. And this is the craziest thing too. Look at, where is it? The West. The play-in tournament is for what seeds again?
The 7th and 8th seed.
7th and 8th seed?
Right.
Okay.
So here I have the playoff picture right now. So for the West, as of today, the Kings would play the Mavericks, and the Lakers would play Warriors for the play-in tournament. And then whoever wins between the Kings and Mavs, whoever wins get the 7th seed. So the loser of that game has to. Wait, how does it work again? If you're the higher seed and you lose, you get you'll play the winner of the Lakers Warriors.
Bro, and that's the thing too. The Lakers Warriors, that's a crucial game for the Warriors, I think, just for the future state of the team. They lose that, bro. Who knows? Clay could be gone. Draymond could be gone. Only person that we know that's staying there is Steph. It could be a whole different team.
If I remember correctly, that was the same play-in setup. Was it? Were the Warriors the play-in last year? Who the Lakers played in the play-in to get out? Was it the Warriors?
I think it was. I can't remember. I really can't remember.
And then let's not forget, Lakers in the same spot last year, play-in tournament. They made it to the Western Conference Finals. Even when the season started, they weren't a top contender for the conference for the finals. The whole season, we all know how that went down. Lakers were being drugged to the ground. People were questioning LeBron's legacy, even though it was his 19th season, and et cetera, et cetera. And AD was battling, playing and injuries and all that stuff. And so everybody had written the Lakers off. They made it to the Western Conference Finals against a healthy, well-rested Denver team. Because we got to remember, Lakers, it was an old veteran team. Not only did they make it to the playoffs and make it to the Western Conference Finals, they had to play more games going through the play-in tournament and the series before the Western Conference Finals. Denver had been waiting for a week for the Lakers to finish their series. As soon as that happened, I knew Denver was going to win because they had like a week plus worth of rest. And you're talking about a team where your best player is 38 years old at the time, So that's why I'm keeping my eyes on the Lakers. There's certain players, regardless of what team they're on, I don't count out until they are officially kicked out. That's Steph Curry and the Warriors, LeBron, whatever team he's on, and maybe one other person out there. But when you talk about those two players and Jimmy Butler, those three players, I do not count them out until the clock hits zero and they are officially eliminated from the playoffs.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially with LeBron, bro. Just LeBron doesn't even have to really be scoring or anything. Just his presence on the court just changes the whole dynamic and everything of the game.
Right.
So,
And shout out, and I also want to point out the New Orleans Pelicans. Very, very quiet this year. Not a lot of media coverage, but everybody for the past few years has been shitting on Zion Williamson and his lack of availability to play and his weight. Guy, it's been quiet. The Pelicans are sitting at fifth in the West. They're sitting above the big three with the Suns. They're sitting at six. So I think the Pelicans potentially in the West, I wouldn't be surprised if any of these teams made it to the finals. I wouldn't be, even if the Pelicans made it, I wouldn't be shocked because they've just been quiet. But for me and you, since we've been covering the NBA, we're seeing it, but the media is not covering it. Like
they stayed steady through the whole season. Like they dropped a little bit, got back up. But I'm like, bro, like how? And it comes to like their small market team, man. They don't have the media coverage and everything, but they're doing what they need to do and everything, man. So
yeah, Clippers, Pelicans, Suns, Kings, Mavs, Lakers, Warriors. I wouldn't be shocked if out of all of them, I wouldn't be shocked if any of them made it. The only two teams I would be absolutely shocked if they made it to the finals is Rockets and Jazz. Because Jazz are sitting at 12 right now. Yeah. Rockets sitting at 11. They would have to go on a run for the play-in, and then they have to go a run in the play. That's the only two teams I would be shook if they made it out of the West.
Yeah, for sure. Man, shout out to KD, dog, getting passing Shaq in the all-time scoring records and everything, man. What let me see where he's at with that. Yeah, number 8 spot and everything. Let's see. Oh man, he got a ways to go to get to that number 7 spot, but I think he'll get there and everything, man. Did you hear about this too, man? So the G League has like those different teams as far as like a different path and everything to get to the NBA. Did you hear that they're getting rid of the Ignite team?
The what? The Ignite team? Isn't that a big time team? Don't a lot of players come from the Ignite?
Yeah, and that's the thing that kind of got me a little bit. I need to read a little bit more into it, but I think it comes down to like players' likeness and names and everything, the landscape of basketball. And then what else did it say here? I think it was dealing with I think the major big thing with it is the transfer portal too.
Yeah, I was thinking because of the NIL with college, I'm thinking maybe they're thinking they don't need the Ignite because guys can get their bread in college without, because the whole point of doing Ignite or like going to these like G League type teams is because you're trying to get out of college to start making some money and still put up film and work on your craft while making money.
Actual like NBA players, like
right.
Development players. So
yeah, but I feel like since they're pretty much, like you said, they're a direct competition with college basketball at this point. Because now guys are like, I can still get development, but if I stay in college, they could probably, depending on who they are, make more money in college than they would with Ignite.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm trying to make it make sense.
Yeah, and I think it's, don't get me wrong, like playing against like people that have been in the league at like the D League or whatever you want to call it. But I mean, man, I think it's more interesting when you're playing against people that are in your same age bracket, in college and everything, actually playing against guys that you play on the AAU circuit and everything like that, people that you've played with in high school and everything. Like, I feel like there's just a little bit more excitement in that than I'm talking about from like a person that's watching the games and everything.
Right.
I think there's a little bit more excitement because the history between like two people and everything. Oh yeah, they played on Bradley's Bills AAU team and everything. Now they're separated. Now they're going at each other and everything. Where you go to the G League, you got this 18, 19-year-old kid that's playing against a 23-year-old that's been just trying to get his shot to get into like on the NBA roster, you know? So
Yeah, I feel like there's not as much media coverage because, you know, when's the last time you watched a G League team, or G League or a D League game?
bro, it's been months. And when I say
Right.
months, like probably 4 to 5 months, probably.
Right. I think for me, it might be over a year since the last time I sat down and watched. But, when's the last time you watched college basketball? Last night?
Yesterday.
Right. You know what I'm saying? It's just more, it's just more readily available television wise as well. It'll be interesting, but, hopefully those guys that were on a part of that organization before they're getting, or guys that are on the organization that they're getting rid of, I hope they still find opportunities elsewhere, because it is all, even though it kind of makes sense why they might dissolve it and put resources somewhere else, it still kind of sucks to see another avenue or another opportunity avenue for people to get to that level be taken down.
Yeah, it sucks, but that's business though, man, at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Um, I got another thing to say, and then we'll peace out. Bro, it looks like Jokic is the favorite for this MVP ladder. And I'm going back to what you said a few years ago on a debate about, I forgot who it was. It was LeBron and somebody else. And you're like, for the MVP, if you take that person off that team and everything, they're not going to do as well. And I forgot who we were comparing it to and everything with
Might have been
LeBron.
John, I think. I don't
I
remember,
think so. I
because
think so.
they were doing well without him. The
So this
Grizzlies.
is my thing. So SGA has been the leader for like the MVP and Jokic. Joel Embiid was up there, but obviously his
Right.
dissolved because he didn't make the cut for how many games to play. It's that same thing, man. It's like you got Jokic, yes, great player. SGA, great player. But if you take Jokic out, they still got Aaron Gordon, Jamal,
Yeah.
Michael
Denver's
Porter, and
still a
everything.
pretty solid team.
They're still a solid team and everything like that. You take SGA out, you take away, he's been averaging 30 points almost for every team this year and everything. Is he still leading in steals right now?
Still leading in steals.
Still leading in steals right now. Let's say, how many is he averaging? Like 2 to 3 or whatever?
2.1.
All right, 2.1. So let's just say cost space 2. Those 2 steals maybe, and I'm getting to the analytical part and everything. Those 2 steals are potentially 2 buckets for them to increase their score or whatever. You add that 30 points a game and everything, you take that out or whatever he's averaging, and you look at the other people that are averaging whatever they're doing, they're struggling, bro. Like I don't think, and I hate to say it like this, I don't think they would be in the position if SGA doesn't play to that level. I don't think they would
Right.
be top 3. They may be top 3, but they're definitely not 1 seed and everything if he doesn't play to that caliber. Where you go to Denver Nuggets, they're the defending champion. They got a target on their back. They want to they want to have that. They want to win that title again. But you still take Jokic out, and you still got main key players and everything. So it's like,
Yeah, I agree. I think if it was come down to, like, if let's say the voting was tied and I was the last person to vote and my vote decided who won, I'm voting for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Like you said, I think now don't get us wrong. We're not saying Jokic isn't good. If people listening, we're not saying he's not good. We're not saying he's
so
not
Jokic is probably one of the best big men that's played so far.
correct. We're just saying, if you're talking about which player is more valuable to their team than the other, I think Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is far more valuable to OKC than Jokic is to Denver. To your point, you take Jokic out for his team, you take Shai out of his team, but you keep the roster the same. Denver, you still got Michael Porter Jr., who's a scorer. You still got Aaron Gordon. You still got guys that can score, get you buckets. I think they still do fairly well. You take Shai Gilgeous-Alexander off OKC, I don't think I don't think they're competitive, right? Like you said, two steals per game. He's also averaging a block. That block also leads to points. He's also averaging 6.4 assists per game, 5-something rebounds on top of 30.8 points per game. I mean, we're talking about, he's one of those guys where he's going to get buckets, but he also gets other guys involved. He's averaging almost 7 assists per game. So that means he's also getting other guys involved. He's also he's making the people around him better. Not saying Jokic isn't, because he's, Mr. Triple Double from the big man that he averaged last year. But a lot of the guys that are on Denver, they have guys that are playmakers. Michael Porter Jr., he can get a shot by himself. Not to say there's guys on OKC that can't, but you have guys whose role is go get a bucket type of thing, where OKC is more of a team feng shui, let's run this offense type of basketball. So I do think Shea is more valuable to OKC than that Jokic is to Denver. So
yeah.
Yeah.
It's a funny stat too. Did you know the average age on the OKC Thunder is the same age to the North Carolina Tar Heels?
Oh yeah, they're so young too. Yeah.
Bro, I didn't know. I knew they were young, but I didn't know that they were that young. I was like, damn.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, and I just want to throw some names out there that I forgot to name for Denver in terms of like guys that can go get a bucket just out of respect. I know he's hurt, but come on, Jamal Murray, Reggie Jackson. So, I had to throw those names out because I want nobody to listen and be like, they got
is
Jamal.
Caldwell Pope still on there?
Yes, Contavious Caldwell Pope still on
Caldwell
here.
Pope is a low-key bucket too, man.
That's what I'm saying. It could, yeah. And like again, Jamal Murray's all-star. You know what I'm saying? So besides Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, is there another all-star on OKC? I don't think there is.
Damn. I just got a notification. Georgia running back got arrested.
Dang.
Trevor
Yeah.
Etienne.
Huh?
Trevor Etienne. 4 misdemeanor charges, including a DUI. Damn.
Yeah, so looking at the roster, you got guys that are, former all-star or all-star caliber players like Jamal Murray, Aaron Gordon was an all-star, and like I said, et cetera, et cetera. There's not a OKC. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is the only all-star that's on that team. I don't think anybody else on that team roster has been an all-star or is an all-star. So, it's to our point. Oh, we might have gone a little longer, but it's okay since we forgot
Forgot a week.
Yeah, we had to skip last week, but all right, ladies and gentlemen, y'all heard it here first from your coaches here at Ivy Talks Podcast Network, the NBA Coverage. We'll catch you guys next week. All right.